Welcome back to Hometown TCG, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John.
And I'm Josh, and we are back to finish up our Arcane Rising Budget Deck Tech series, and I know a lot of you have been waiting for this one. We are talking Azalea.
That's right, but first we need to remind you we got our huge live stream event coming at you June 22nd at 7 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be giving away Monarch Unlimited boxes.
You got part of it.
Monarch Unlimited boxes. We're going to be talking with you in the chat, having a good time, talking all things fab. So we'll be excited to see you there.
Yeah, but for right now, let's talk Azalea. And we got to give you guys a disclaimer. And we think we might have a couple of you mad at us for this one.
Deck sucks.
In a limited format where everyone is playing a budget deck, this deck stands up amongst the rest. And you can play and be competitive with all of our other budget decks from the Arc set. However, when you attempt to push this deck beyond and get it to the competitive Blitz format, and you spend a bunch of money on those shiny legendaries and crew cards that are expensive, you don't really see the benefit, guys. So we want to give you a warning. This is a great deck to play with these other budget decks. We advise against, unless you spend your money how you want, but if you're on a limited budget, we advise against upgrading this past this point.
All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about what she does well.
Well, this deck does do well. Now, that's a full disclaimer. In this format, in this budget format, she is completely viable with these other budget decks, so she does do some of these things very well here.
Yeah, so she has amazing hit effects. She has a few cards from her arrows that can really shut your opponent down. So we're going to be looking at them, but those hit effects can be devastating, especially if your opponent doesn't have armor or defense reactions to block them.
Exactly. Those hit effects can really set you aside from the other heroes, and that dominate ability, when you can pull it off, almost guarantees those hit effects in a limited format. It does seem fantastic. And she won't draw that bad no-power hand. You know, you draw those hands where you get 3 blues, you get 4 blues, you're like, what do I do with this hand? You don't have that problem in this deck. She runs a lot of high-efficiency, high-damage cards.
Yeah, so, pretty much all reds, so you got that going for you. Looking at what she doesn't do well, we'll start off with blocking. So she has a lot of 2-block cards, especially since every non-attack action that Ranger has is a 2-block, and she also has to run some generics, so tons of 2-blocks, not great at blocking herself.
And that not great at blocking kind of extends into the armor, even at the high-end competitive level with all of the legendaries, and especially at this level, at the budget level, you are missing out on a lot of armor defense. You don't have a lot to offer in the way of armor defense. And you also don't have a weapon to attack with, right? You got a weapon with an effect, but not really an attack there.
Yeah, it's there's only 2 heroes that have, well, I guess there's more with Prism now, but
yes.
Most heroes have a weapon that you can pitch and attack, and it does something. But hers just lets you do what everyone else can do naturally.
Yes,
it just lets you play an attack from your hand.
It's very weird, and there's a certain rhythm to the deck that you're going to have to play. So, but that is a weakness to not have that consistent pressure from a weapon attack.
Thematically, it's kind of cool, but it just doesn't work that well in practice is the problem.
Exactly, and that leads us into the last weakness that you touched on, is she does a lot of the same things that the other characters do, whether it's dominate attacks or good hit effects, right, from Ninja and stuff like that. But it's far more difficult to do, and there doesn't seem to be much more reward.
Exactly. So let's look at some of the key cards that do give you the benefits. The biggest one is going to be Red in the Ledger. Now this card is amazing. It would be powerful in any deck. So she has access to a really great card, and the effect on it is better than making your opponent not get go again. It makes him not be able to use any additional actions. So if your opponent has a time snap potion, time skippers, if they're rolling scab skin, it shuts down everything.
Red in the Ledger is definitely the shining star in this deck, and I believe it's the reason for the budget of the deck being a little bit higher. So Red in the Ledger is needed. The budget of this deck will be a little bit higher, but it's a necessary card. It outshines all of the other arrows. But the other arrows do have their uses, right? So Sleep Dart, you can turn off your opponent's hero ability, and late game, that hitting a Levio or a Chain, that can be devastating as well.
Yes, so against them, if they don't have armor left, you hit that dominant attack, you just win the game.
Yeah.
So that, you need to try to chip away the armor to get that through, but that card is so powerful. Another one would be Hamstring Shot. So making your opponent's their next action is going to cost +1. That can really devastate certain decks that they have their pitch all planned out, and then you completely throw off their plan.
Especially something like a Dorinthia that's really going to be reliant on the pitch that they had. They're not going to want to block. They want to keep those resources. That's a great card there. And for those of you that have watched our box openings, card that kind of irks us because it's not actually shot in the hamstring. They're shot in the calf.
It's on the calf.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it.
But to push some of these through to get these hit effects, we do have some buffs on these attacks. We have Nimblism. Nimbly Bimbly. We have Razor Reflex, yes. And then we have the Ranger-specific card, Take Aim.
Take Aim, yes. So we have those. Oh, one more. Plunder Run is in the deck.
Plunder Run is in the deck as well. And Plunder Run, she has access to great cards. Plunder Run's a great card. It's good that she gets to play it.
Yeah, so she does have some things. Those attack buffs can help you push that Dominate through, which can help you win the game. So she does have some powerful cards, but let's talk about a little more of the strategy behind them.
Okay, so we've talked about the fact that Red in the Ledger is a shining star in this deck, and we've given you a couple arrows kind of as a rundown that are important based on your matchup. You have to make sure these significant arrows hit your opponent, whether it's with attack reactions or attack buffs, whether it's with chipping away at their armor or finding a good time in the game where they don't want to play defense. These must hit.
Yeah, save the ones that are going to be impactful. If Red in the Ledger is the one that's impactful, you save that for the time you know it can hit. If it's Sleep Dart that's going to be impactful, you save that for the exact time you know it can hit. And then once you do, there's actually one more card we wanted to talk about that I probably skipped over, was Memorial Ground. So Memorial Ground can let you take any of your attacks and put it back on top of your deck to set up your Dominate. So you can hit Red in the Ledger 4 times in the game or Sleep Dart 4 times in the game.
And that can be what you need to do in some of these matchups to win, guys. You might find yourself in a position where you need to hit 3 Red in the Ledgers. You need to hit 3 Hamstring Shots, 3 Sleep Darts to win this game. Memorial Ground's going to get you there, so use that wisely. It's an instant. Use it when you can use it, when you know it's going to hit. Guarantee the hit of these impactful arrows. Those are 2 very significant strategies, right?
Mm-hmm. That's how you win the game with her.
100%. And you can't... Another trap to fall into is much like our Kano video, you can't go blind off the top without that Memorial Ground or some kind of opt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have some more opt in the deck. One more card we can talk about is Fate Foreseen. So that gives you some more opt off the top. So we want to use those things to make sure we're hitting our dominated attack and we're not just hitting like a random attack action or something.
Yes, if you go off the top and you don't hit a dominated attack on a turn where you're relying on that, where you're kind of trying to put on some pressure, you can lose all pressure and that game can flip on you in an instant. It'll be out of your hands quicker than you've ever realized. Make sure you're using your opt effectively. Don't be going blind off the top, guys. It is not worth it. And our last tip with this deck is probably the best one. And that's, guys, have fun. We know Azalea is a crowd favorite. We know a lot of you guys are going to crush us in the comment section. But, guys, have fun playing this deck in the budget format. Because outside of this budget format, it's going to be tough to pick up wins. And getting stomped a lot is not super fun. So, so have fun.
So be sure to let us know how you're doing with the deck. If there's any cool tech you have for it, let us know. We want to hear that. We want to see people having fun with this.
And if we're wrong about Azalea, roast us in the comments. We're ready for it. We know it's coming, guys. This has been awesome. We're going to catch you in the live stream and hang out with you. You can let us know in the live stream what you think about Azalea. Yeah. But until then, guys, my name is Josh.
And I'm John.
And be careful where you play this Azalea deck.